Welcome to Bad Wrench Automotive. All right, so in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to take this fan shroud off of your '06 Nissan Pathfinder. If you have any motor that has this 4.0 V6, chances are you will have a very similar fan shroud. But in order to get the shroud off, we have to start with taking the fan clutch out, which is also attached to the fan blade. Let's go ahead and look at those bolts of how we get the fan clutch out, and then we can go into the shroud. So here is our fan clutch. We are going to be replacing this clutch. That will be a separate video, guys. Right here is where the holes are for the four bolts. They're actually studs with a nut style on it. And with the fan shroud out, I can get in here easier and show you guys. This is our water pump. This is where it bolts to. Runs off of the accessory drive belt. But here is where we have these four nuts that we have to take off of these studs that hold the fan shroud into place. It does hold tight right here on the water pump, so you will have to wiggle it back and forth. Use a flat blade screwdriver to get that loose. Let's go ahead and look at the fan shroud now. So here's our fan shroud. We will have two bolts to remove, one here and one here. And we will have a wire that we need to get out of this loop here. Once you've done that, you're not done. There's another small piece of the shield you need to remove, and there's some hoses that you need to remove. You'll have one hose that's held on here that you need to unloop. That hose is located right down here. So right here, it's hiding, and of course it doesn't want to focus for me. So right here, this hose that's hiding in my hand, this is the one that we need to remove. Also, you need to remove this hose right down here. So that one needs to be removed off the bottom of the fan shroud. And that hose attaches in two places underneath. You've got one there and one there. Once you've removed the two hoses, there's a small piece of the shield that needs to come out. That piece there. This is all easily accessible if you go from underneath, but because I had so much work to do to the upper part of this engine, guys, I left it on the ground, meaning that I reached in and disconnected it. Once you get in there and disconnect those, you'll remove the plastic piece of the shroud, which is right here. This is all these parts are extremely greasy, so I will have to spray these down before going back in. This one just snaps into place right there, right there. A tab there that it clips in, and then this kind of slides into place, and that is located just like this on this side of it. So you can see the tab right there where it clips in. It slides in right over there. Then there's two snap clips underneath that hold these two tabs. This has to be removed for many different reasons. You will have to pull that fan and fan clutch out by sliding the fan shroud towards the engine and pulling it up through here. This is the only way you're going to get the fan and fan clutch out. That has to be out of the way to fish that fan shroud up through here. Where you're going to have problems is it's going to want to hit on this line if you're moving over far enough. You're also going to have troubles with it hitting here on your power steering pump and on this electric fan here. Be careful of these wires. Don't let it hook these wires, and you will have a little bit of an issue here. I disconnected this sensor that is for the power steering so that I could pull this fan shroud up and through. The fan shroud has to come out, guys, because we do have to do an alternator and possibly the power steering pump. As you see, the alternator is down below. The power steering pump sits above it. We're going to have to pull those in order to replace them with new ones. The idler and tensioner were both making noise. We are putting a new serpentine belt on it, but I did notice a little bit of coolant missing out of the system. So I'm going to have to figure out why that's happening, where that coolant's going, before I try to button all of this back up, because if the water pump is leaking, now is the time to fix it. In the next video, I'm going to show you guys how to diagnose a bad water pump. There's a couple of different ways within the bearings. Also, we're going to check the weep holes. There's usually a weep hole that tells you kind of where your problems are. We're going to check that weep hole. And there's a lot more to come on this engine, guys. We have to pull this upper intake, which I'm going to cover that in a video. We have to pull these valve covers, do our coils and our plugs. This car has 163,000 miles on it and absolutely zero maintenance done to it. So we're kind of getting into a can of worms here as we crack open and go deeper with every layer. We're finding more and more that just no maintenance was ever done, and some rusty bolts, and we're also chasing a bad ground, guys. If you ever see a ground cable like this on your vehicle that is a real thin gauged wire, this is a very thin gauged, possibly a 16 gauge wire. This should be in the range of a 14 to 12 gauge wire. This is just a ground. The reason a lot of our bolts and fasteners look this rusty is because of that issue. I'm going to cover that again in a separate video, but today was wrestling this fan shroud out. I hope you guys learned quite a bit here, because this fan shroud really tested my patience. There was a lot that I needed to take apart. There was a lot of things that were in the way and a lot of pieces that had to be taken off of it in order to remove the fan shroud. A lot of times fan shrouds are very difficult to take off because they're designed to be like one of the last pieces you would take off before you would start servicing anything in that bay. So usually it's one of the last pieces to go down. It's usually one of the first pieces to go in, depending on how it's set up. This one is going to be a challenge to get back in, and I probably won't show that on video, but you guys now know how to take this out. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell so you get notified when I drop new videos, and I'll see you on the next one.